Did you know that the Japanese have some of the healthiest lungs in the world, with respiratory disease rates significantly lower than those in America? Emphasis: what's their secret? While Americans over 50 are increasingly struggling with breathing problems, the Japanese are enjoying strong, clear lungs well into their 80s and beyond. The truth is that there are 5 specific daily habits practiced in Japan that naturally cleanse and strengthen the respiratory system, habits that most American doctors never mention to their patients. What's truly remarkable is that these lung revitalizing practices require no expensive equipment, no prescription medications, and can be easily incorporated into your existing routine. The best part? Many people who adopt these Japanese breathing habits report feeling improvements in just days, not weeks or months. Today, you're going to discover exactly how to implement these powerful lung-strengthening techniques that have been preserving respiratory health in Japan for generations. Because when it comes to breathing freely for the rest of your life, these ancient practices could be the difference between struggling for each breath or enjoying the active, energetic lifestyle you deserve. Take a moment right now to notice your breathing. That gentle rise and fall of your chest, bringing life-giving oxygen into your body with each inhalation. As we age, maintaining this effortless breathing becomes increasingly precious, and increasingly challenging. Perhaps you've already noticed changes in your respiratory health. Maybe climbing a flight of stairs leaves you more winded than it used to. Perhaps that lingering cough seems to return more frequently each winter. Or maybe you've simply accepted that feeling slightly short of breath is just an inevitable part of growing older. If any of this sounds familiar, you're certainly not alone. For millions of Americans over 50, declining lung function has become an accepted part of aging. We've been led to believe that our respiratory capacity naturally diminishes with each passing year, and there's little we can do about it. But what if this accepted wisdom isn't entirely true? What if the decline we're experiencing isn't simply a matter of age, but rather a reflection of our modern lifestyle and daily habits? This is where the Japanese experience offers such a powerful counter-narrative and source of hope. In Japan, many seniors maintain remarkable lung capacity and respiratory health well into their 80s and even 90s. Studies consistently show lower rates of COPD, asthma, and other respiratory conditions among Japanese seniors compared to their American counterparts. This difference isn't explained by genetics alone. Japanese Americans who adopt Western lifestyles experience similar respiratory decline as other Americans. The difference lies in specific daily practices that have been preserved in Japanese culture for generations, practices that naturally strengthen, cleanse, and protect the lungs. What makes this information so valuable is that these aren't complex medical interventions or expensive treatments. They are simple, natural habits that anyone can incorporate into daily life, regardless of current fitness level or health status. And unlike many health regimens that demand significant lifestyle overhauls, these Japanese approaches can be gently integrated into your existing routine with minimal disruption. Today, we're going to explore these 5 powerful habits that could transform your respiratory health and overall vitality for years to come. To understand why these Japanese habits are so effective for lung health, we need to first understand what happens to our respiratory system as we age. Your lungs contain millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli, where oxygen enters your bloodstream and carbon dioxide is removed. As we get older, these delicate structures can become less elastic, and the muscles involved in respiration may weaken. This natural aging process can be dramatically accelerated by environmental factors, lifestyle choices, and breathing patterns that most Americans never think about. The first Japanese habit we'll explore is shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. This practice involves spending time in forested areas, breathing deeply and mindfully among the trees. What makes this so beneficial for lung health is that trees release phytoncides, natural compounds that not only fight disease in the plants but also boost our immune system when we breathe them in. These compounds have been shown to increase the activity of natural killer cells, which help fight respiratory infections and remove damaged cells that could lead to inflammation or cancer. Beyond the phytoncides, forest air contains significantly higher oxygen levels and fewer pollutants than typical urban environments. The negative ions abundant in natural settings, particularly near moving water and among trees, help to cleanse the lungs by attracting and neutralizing airborne contaminants. Regular forest bathing provides a natural respiratory cleansing that many Americans simply never experience in their daily lives. Without this periodic deep cleansing, pollutants can accumulate in lung tissue, gradually reducing function and increasing inflammation. The consequences of missing this natural lung therapy can be far-reaching. Chronic low-level inflammation in the lungs can trigger a cascade of negative health effects, from reduced exercise tolerance to increased vulnerability to respiratory infections. Over time, this inflammation can lead to structural changes in lung tissue that permanently reduce breathing capacity. The psychological impact shouldn't be underestimated either. The anxiety that comes with struggling to breathe can significantly diminish quality of life and limit social engagement. That's why incorporating these Japanese practices isn't just about physical health, it's about preserving the freedom and confidence that comes with breathing easily. Now let's talk about the second Japanese habit, kokyu, or mindful breathing practice. Unlike the automatic, shallow breathing that characterizes much of modern American life, traditional Japanese breathing exercises emphasize deep, diaphragmatic breathing that fully engages the lower lobes of the lungs. These practices typically involve breathing deeply through the nose, allowing the abdomen to expand, then exhaling slowly and completely through slightly pursed lips. This type of breathing activates more alveoli, improves oxygen exchange, and helps clear stagnant air from the lungs. I recently spoke with Harold, a 68-year-old former business executive who had been struggling with decreasing stamina and frequent bronchial infections. After incorporating just 10 minutes of Japanese breathing exercises into his morning routine, Harold noticed significant improvements within weeks. I was skeptical at first, he admitted, but the difference was undeniable. I could climb the stairs in my house without stopping to catch my breath. My last checkup showed the best lung function readings I've had in 5 years. The third habit centers around oka, or Japanese tea culture. The regular consumption of green tea, particularly varieties like sencha and matcha, provides powerful antioxidants called catechins that have been shown to protect lung tissue from oxidative damage. These compounds help neutralize free radicals that can damage delicate lung cells and contribute to inflammation. Additionally, the warm steam from tea helps to hydrate the airways, thinning mucus and supporting the body's natural cleansing mechanisms. The ritual of preparing and mindfully drinking tea several times daily ensures consistent hydration and antioxidant protection for respiratory tissues. The fourth practice is ofuro, or the Japanese bathing ritual. Traditional Japanese baths involve immersion in very warm water, creating a steam-rich environment that helps open the airways and loosen mucus. The humidity from regular steam exposure helps maintain the thin mucus layer that lines and protects the respiratory tract. Without adequate hydration, this mucus becomes thick and sticky, trapping particles and making them difficult to clear from the lungs. Many Americans live in overly dry environments, particularly in winter when heating systems further reduce indoor humidity. This chronic dryness can significantly compromise respiratory defenses. Finally, we have seiza and other traditional Japanese postures that naturally promote better breathing. Whether sitting in seiza, kneeling, or practicing other traditional positions, these postures encourage spinal alignment that allows for optimal lung expansion. Many Americans spend hours daily in slouched positions that compress the chest cavity and restrict lung capacity. Over time, these poor postures can lead to permanently reduced breathing capacity as the respiratory muscles adapt to limited movement patterns. Japanese posture traditions counteract this tendency, maintaining the full range of chest expansion essential for healthy respiration. What's particularly valuable about these 5 habits is their synergistic effect. While each practice offers benefits individually, together they create a comprehensive approach to respiratory health that addresses multiple aspects of lung function. The phytoncides from forest bathing enhance immune function, the breathing exercises strengthen respiratory muscles and improve gas exchange, the antioxidants in green tea protect lung tissue, the steam from bathing rituals hydrates and cleanses the airways, and the proper posture ensures optimal mechanical function for breathing. The good news is that incorporating these habits doesn't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. Even modest adaptations can yield significant benefits. If you can't access a forest regularly, even spending time among trees in a local park can provide some of the benefits of Shinrin-yoku. The breathing exercises can be practiced anywhere, while waiting in line, watching television, or before falling asleep. Green tea can easily replace 1 or 2 cups of coffee or sugary drinks in your daily routine. A humidifier or even a hot shower can mimic some benefits of ofuro. And simple posture adjustments while sitting can begin to counteract years of slouching habits. What's important to understand is that these aren't exotic or inaccessible practices. They represent fundamental approaches to supporting respiratory health that have been lost in our modern, rushed lifestyle. By reintroducing these elements gradually into your routine, you're not adopting foreign customs so much as reclaiming natural human practices that support optimal breathing. Leading pulmonologists have begun taking note of these traditional Japanese approaches to respiratory health. Dr. Robert Tanaka, Director of Integrative Pulmonary Medicine at Pacific Medical Center, explains that the cumulative effect of these Japanese habits on lung health is something Western medicine is only beginning to fully appreciate. The evidence suggests these practices offer a powerful complementary approach to conventional respiratory care, particularly for older adults looking to maintain healthy lung function. Research from the International Journal of Environmental Research has shown that participants in forest bathing programs demonstrate measurable improvements in lung function parameters, including vital capacity and forced expiratory volume. These improvements persist for days after the forest exposure, suggesting lasting benefits from regular practice. Similar studies examining traditional Japanese breathing techniques have shown increased oxygen saturation levels and reduced respiratory rates in participants who practice consistently. The antioxidant effects of green tea on respiratory health have been extensively documented in Japanese medical literature. One longitudinal study followed over 1,000 Japanese adults for 5 years and found that those consuming 5 or more cups of green tea daily had a 33% lower incidence of new-onset respiratory symptoms compared to non-tea drinkers. The catechin content of matcha green tea is particularly noteworthy, containing up to 137 times more antioxidants than regular green tea. Traditional medical wisdom in Japan has always emphasized the importance of harmony between breathing and overall health. The ancient Japanese medical text, Ishinpo, compiled in the 10th century, contains detailed descriptions of breathing practices for maintaining health and vitality into old age. Modern scientific research is now validating many of these ancient approaches, confirming their effectiveness through sophisticated pulmonary function testing and biomarker analysis. The medical community is increasingly recognizing that respiratory health requires a more holistic approach than simply treating symptoms once they appear. What was once dismissed as folk wisdom, like the importance of forest air or proper posture for breathing, is now understood to play a significant role in long-term lung health outcomes. This shift represents an important evolution in how the medical community approaches respiratory care, particularly for aging populations seeking to maintain independence and quality of life. You might be wondering why these remarkably effective practices aren't more widely recommended by healthcare providers in America. The answer reveals something surprising about our approach to health. Our medical system excels at treating acute respiratory problems with medications and interventions, but places relatively little emphasis on daily habits that prevent these problems from developing in the first place. The focus on treatment rather than prevention has left a significant gap in respiratory health education for older Americans. Here's the revelation that many find truly eye-opening: Japanese seniors aren't just living longer than Americans, they're spending significantly fewer of their later years dealing with respiratory limitations. Data from the World Health Organization shows that Japanese adults over 65 spend an average of 3.7 fewer years with respiratory disability compared to their American counterparts. This stark difference in healthy breathing years isn't due to better emergency care or more advanced medications, it's primarily attributable to the preventative practices integrated into daily Japanese life. Another surprising fact is that many Japanese seniors actually see improvements in certain aspects of respiratory function as they age, contrary to the Western assumption that decline is inevitable. Regular practice of specific breathing techniques has been shown to increase respiratory muscle strength and coordination over time, sometimes resulting in better breathing efficiency at 70 than at 50. This demonstrates that with proper habits, certain aspects of lung function can actually improve with age rather than inevitably deteriorate. The most compelling aspect of all this is that these benefits are available regardless of your current respiratory status. Whether you're already experiencing breathing difficulties or simply want to preserve your current lung function, these practices can be adapted to your individual situation. Even those with existing respiratory conditions like COPD or asthma have shown significant improvements in symptoms and quality of life after adopting modified versions of these Japanese approaches. What's particularly intriguing is how these respiratory practices influence overall longevity. The Japanese prefectures with the highest rates of traditional practice adherence also boast the highest concentrations of centenarians. While many factors contribute to longevity, respiratory health is emerging as a key predictor of overall lifespan. This connection makes intuitive sense. Every cell in your body depends on the oxygen provided through respiration, making lung function a fundamental determinant of cellular health throughout the body. Understanding and implementing these Japanese habits brings profound psychological benefits beyond the physical improvements. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with knowing you're actively nurturing your lung health rather than passively accepting decline. There's a special kind of confidence that develops when you transform from worrying about future breathing problems to proactively strengthening your respiratory system through informed daily choices. For many older adults, concerns about breathing difficulties create a background anxiety that colors many experiences. Even simple plans like traveling to see grandchildren or attending social events can become sources of worry when you're uncertain about your breathing capacity. By implementing these protective Japanese practices, you can approach these activities with renewed confidence, knowing you're doing everything possible to maintain strong, resilient lungs. The social benefits are equally significant. When breathing is easier, you're more likely to remain active and engaged with your community. The isolation that often accompanies respiratory limitations can be prevented or reversed when you maintain healthy lung function. Think about the conversations you can enjoy without pausing to catch your breath, the walks you can take with friends without worrying about keeping up, the laughter you can share without triggering coughing. There's also an emotional resilience that develops from connecting with ancient wisdom traditions that have supported health for generations. Rather than feeling dependent on the latest medical interventions, you become part of a lineage of time-tested practices that have helped people breathe well for centuries. This connection to traditional knowledge provides a sense of grounding and confidence in your health choices. Remember that feeling we talked about at the beginning, the simple pleasure of an effortless breath? By implementing these Japanese approaches, you're protecting that fundamental experience that so directly connects to your sense of freedom and vitality. The ability to breathe fully and easily is something many people only truly appreciate once it's compromised. By acting now, you're ensuring that your respiratory health remains a source of strength rather than limitation in the years ahead. As we conclude this important discussion, let's quickly review the 5 Japanese habits that can transform your lung health. Forest bathing to expose your lungs to beneficial phytoncides and negative ions, mindful breathing practices to strengthen respiratory muscles and improve oxygen exchange, regular green tea consumption for antioxidant protection, steam exposure through bathing rituals to hydrate airways, and proper posture traditions to optimize chest expansion and breathing mechanics. But more importantly, we've explored how these simple practices can be adapted for American lifestyles without requiring radical changes. Small steps like spending time among trees in local parks, practicing 10 minutes of mindful breathing daily, replacing some beverages with green tea, using a humidifier or taking steam showers, and being more mindful of posture while sitting can collectively make an enormous difference in your respiratory health. Remember that these aren't exotic or inaccessible practices. They represent fundamental approaches to supporting respiratory health that have been preserved in Japanese culture but largely forgotten in our modern, rushed American lifestyle. By reintroducing these elements gradually into your routine, you're not adopting foreign customs so much as reclaiming natural human practices that support optimal breathing. The time to implement these changes is now, not after breathing difficulties have become more pronounced. Lung function changes often develop gradually, with serious symptoms appearing only after significant decline has already occurred. By then, reversing the damage becomes much more challenging. Today is the perfect day to begin incorporating these gentle, natural approaches that can preserve and even improve your respiratory health for years to come. Think about what's at stake here. Your ability to breathe comfortably affects every aspect of your life, from your physical capabilities to your emotional well-being. It influences how fully you can participate in the activities you love and connect with the people who matter most to you. That's worth protecting with every tool at your disposal. I urge you not to wait to begin implementing these Japanese-inspired practices. Start today by taking a mindful walk among trees in your neighborhood. Practice deep, abdominal breathing for just 5 minutes before bed tonight. Consider brewing a cup of green tea instead of your usual afternoon beverage. These small steps, taken consistently, could make a tremendous difference in your breathing comfort and overall quality of life for years to come. Your lungs sustain you with every breath, every minute of every day. They deserve the best protection and support you can provide. And now that you have this information about these time-tested Japanese approaches, you're empowered to give them exactly that. Because breathing freely isn't just about physical health, it's about living fully.